チャンピオンズリーグの準決勝第1レグに合わせて、今週のクロスウェイズは少し早くアップされた。しかし、アーセナルの勝利よりも、バニー賞とマンチェスターユナイテッドについての話題の方が面白そうなので、その部分をピックアップする。ただ予備知識が必要な部分もあるので、基本となる事実を先立てて述べておきたい。バニー賞の行方については、なかなか決着がつかない。賞は、基本的には、シティ残留を希望していると言われている。しかし、最近報道されたところによると、チェルシーが100万ポンド約2億1500万円の年俸を提示したのに対して、それに匹敵するほどのオファーをシティは提示していないらしい。そこが問題なのである。そんな中、シティは、現在アーセナルに在籍しているベスミードとマケーブと契約を結ぶ可能性が高まっていると、4月28日のジアスレティックが報じた。シティの応援サイトの掲示板では、バニーに残留してもらう資金を捻出するために、ファウラーかケロリンを放出し、その空白をミードとマケーブといったベテランで補填するつもりではないかという、まことしやかな憶測が語られている。きっと裏ではいろいろな思惑が交錯しているのだろう。果たしてどうなるか、まだ誰にもわからない状態である。一方、来シーズンのヨーロッパ選手権への参加が、かなり難しくなったマンチェスターユナイテッドの周辺が騒がしくなっている。監督のマーク・スキナーに取材を申し込んだジアスレティックのミーガン・フェリンガ記者が、ユナイテッドの広報担当者に拒否されるという事件が起きたらしい。その広報担当者は、クラブのチャンピオンズリーグ敗退後に、フェリンガ記者が報じた過度に否定的な記事への対応だ、と言ったそうなのだ。その問題の記事を読むと、マンチェスターユナイテッドが女子チームに対していかにケチで、しかもメンツを守るために外部資金の導入も断った経緯が具体的に説明されている。親切でわかりやすいと私などは思ったのだが、担当者はかなり頭にきたらしい。しかし、その程度のことはイングランドのフットボールの関係者なら誰でも知っていることらしく、それを記事にした記者の取材を拒否するなどということは、全く恥ずかしいことだとイアン・ライトもステフ・ホートンも、ユナイテッドに対して、呆れ顔である。全くもって正しい指摘だと、宮沢ひなたの疲れ切った姿を思い浮かべながら、私もそう思ったが、この程度の騒動でクラブの体質が変わることはないだろうなとも思うのである。
The timing of that Bunny Shaw link with Chelsea. And then, I'm not saying it's got anything to do with the result, but like, obviously Bunny doing well and, you know, hit the post and scoring herself, but the timing of that, could that be a bit disruptive as well? Because we're talking about Bunny Shaw here, I think the best number 9 in the world right now.
Yeah, I mean, we said that in the last pod was that, is anyone better than Bunny Shaw? And at this moment, absolutely not. I think for me, what she brings as a striker, what she's done this season, I think even though there's a bit of noise around her, which is rightly so, which is when you have someone that is that good and we're not sure where she's going to be next season, yeah. Of course it's going to bring noise, it's going to bring rumours and articles like it was, but I think knowing Bunny, I think in terms of this season, all she wants to do is win this league and win the Golden Boot, and I know she's so focused on that. And for our teammates as well, look, I think the power of social media, I think there's always rumours here, there and everywhere, so I think everybody starts to get a bit used to it. So I think, of course, from a City perspective, to get her contract sorted as soon as possible would be lovely.
Well, this is what I'm thinking, Steph. I think we're hearing the numbers that Chelsea are offering, $1 million. For her. And when you consider that Chelsea, you know, you got Myra Ramirez, she's probably going. Sam Kerr, we know's going. You know, Bunny Shaw. At this moment, if I'm Manchester City, I shut that down instantly. And you know what? I know it's a massive amount of money in respect to the women's game, and it's rightly so that she should be getting offered that kind of money. But I think that City should just blast Chelsea's contract out the water, because you know that Bunny wants to stay there. But at the end of the day, people don't understand as much as Bunny loves Manchester City, she has to take full advantage of any kind of opportunity like that. And I think that what she's done with her career, she's the best for me. Like I said, I think she's the best number 9 in the world at the moment. And she should be getting that and more. City should be offering her that and more, because of people are going to come to Manchester City for Bunny Shaw as well. They want to play with the best. That's the kind of thing that's going to continue to propel Manchester City to the higher echelons of the game, simply because they've got a player that that other players want to come and play with. She should not even, her head shouldn't even be turned. But if I'm her, my head would be turned unless City are going to make an offer that's going to make her say, well, I'm sorry, Chelsea fans, but I'm staying here, because they've made me an offer at a place I'm very happy at, and I want to stay. But if they're not going to do that, I would say to Bunny, go to Chelsea. Go to Chelsea if they're not going to pay you, because she deserves to be paid.
I mean, her story is crazy, where she's come from to where she is now. So, and being through that myself, and obviously being loyal to the clubs that I was at, I think sometimes you do have to look after yourself. And this is a pivotal time in Bunny's career, and I get it. You get to a certain age.
Last proper major deal she could sign of this kind of magnitude.
Yeah, of course. And I think for me, like looking at it from a Man City's perspective, I think if you sign her and you keep her, then everything in terms of a dominance for Man City could actually happen.
Yeah.
Because you are building a squad around the best number 9 in the world, and you know that goals is not going to be a problem. Whereas other teams, like say for example, if Chelsea lose Sam Kerr and Ramirez, who's their number 9? If they don't get Bunny, who are they going to go and get? And you think, oh, actually, she's going to get 20 plus goals in a season in WSL and Champions League. There's not really that many players, apart from probably Alessia Russo when she does play in the 9, that can do that. So, yeah, I mean, lucky. And I think there's obviously noise because of who she is and where it's got to at this stage in the season. You'd like to have been done in January, February. But for me, I just wanted to finish the season strong. I think she really deserves to win the league with City with all the hard work that she's done. And I'm praying that she stays, because she's so important.
They've got to keep her. You know what? I think if Chelsea are really serious, they'd have probably offered a double. Really see what Manchester City want to do in respect of their future and keeping the best striker in the world. You know, I'm really interested to see how this one goes, because obviously it means a lot to her. Like I said, it's probably her last major contract she'll sign. So I'm sure she wants to stay at Manchester City, but please God, don't make Man City make her the kind of offer that makes her even have to think about going to Chelsea. And that's where I think it gets to a place where, come on, man, show your colours now, City. This is the best striker in the world. Run that money to her, man.
Speaking of,
I'll talk about United. You know something? I was reading Megan Faringa from The Athletic. You know, she got banned from asking any questions in the press conference, which for me it's just from Man United's point of view, and everything we've been saying about Man United from the start of this podcast, how much they've needed backing, they need help. Them girls are doing it. They've now obviously they're out of everything, struggling to maybe get into the Champions League this season, and everything we've said right from the start, you know, it's like it seems to be coming to the fore. She's done a great piece on it in The Athletic, and you know, when you look back at it, what she said, like, obviously Ineos bought a share of it, but like then remember Jim Ratcliffe came out, so Jim came out and said, we can't really focus on the women's at the moment because we've got to focus on the men's right now. There was an outside party that wanted to invest and buy a share in the Man United women's team, and they shut that down instantly. And I think they shut that down instantly because of the embarrassment of Manchester United like selling off a share of their women's team. That doesn't look good on Manchester United. It doesn't look great at all. And she's highlighted all those things, Steph.
We've been taught about all these things, though, Ian.
What they need, you know, exactly what they needed, the players that they need, the kind of backing that they need. And Man United haven't got it. And now they've got to a position where last season, they're brilliant what they've done. They started this season fantastically well, got themselves to the semi-finals, got to the semi-finals. And when you watch that game, you know, so I watched the highlights of that game, you know, them scoring so early, but then they just ran out of steam because they just didn't have the players. They dropped off. They didn't have the players to go and attack and finish Bayern Munich off. And then obviously they scored with 2 corners, I think it was in the end. But like, again, we can look at it like that and you think, oh, they're so unlucky. But they didn't get the help to let them kick on again. That's what happens. They didn't get the help from Manchester United's board.
I just don't feel as though you can just refuse to do the interview, like
That's
in the bit of a bad moment. And
so
I think
bad. Man United should be they should be ashamed of that.
It is what it is. Whatever is in the article is what we've been saying. A number of other podcasts have been saying what's been said in general in women's football, because it is Manchester United. And there's so much pressure for them to succeed because of who they are and the players that they have brought in. And could they bring more in? And is there been times where they've been unlucky with injuries? Of course they have, but that's a story of everybody's season. I just don't think it's about singling Man United out, because at the beginning of the season we heavily criticised Arsenal because of the poor start that they had. And Chelsea after Christmas, and Manchester City probably from last year when they finished fourth and didn't make Champions League. So I think that's just football at the end of the day. If you're not performing or you haven't got the investment that is needed, of course there's going to be conversations because people want the club to do well.
And the girls, as hard as they tried, and them girls done everything. The levels what they've got to, that is it. They need help. So for them to like start banning people before even giving an interview, we're talking about Man United, release a statement. You know what I mean? It's I think it's so small-minded of them.
It creates really, more bad press, in my opinion.
Yeah, and childish. And like I say, I can't get over that simply because it's Man United. You didn't want a third party to come in and invest in the team because it embarrasses you. Because they might come in, and then what's going to happen then? The story
do the right thing.
Exactly. The story's going to be, an outside party had to come into Manchester United and get their women to where they are now. If Man United women start doing brilliantly, and that's all Man United need to do. But they shut that down. They shut down the external investment. So, you know what? It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Man United this season, because obviously they've still got to try and qualify for it next year. But if they don't, Steph, you know what I mean, with those girls, what they've got, and with some players, and we've seen great players at Man United, ladies, move on. You know, I'm sorry. If I'm an agent for those players, I'm saying we've got to go somewhere where the team's got some ambition to do something.
You would doubt yourself as a player. Say if you're in your mid-20s and you're starting every week for Manchester United and you want to be Champions League, you want to be competing for trophies, that question has to come into it in terms of, okay, is my long-term future here?
Yeah.
Do I really believe that we're going to get the back end to be successful? Because, to be honest, I think they did great in the Champions League this season. I think they exceeded all expectations of where they got to, getting to quarterfinals. But I think they just maybe just went over the expectation, which left them now really struggling in the league. I mean, they've drew with Spurs today, 0-0.
I know.
Spurs created 22 shots. Which against United, who are very normally defensively very good, that is a big stat. So they're just burnt out. The energy's gone from the team.
The thing what I would say is that United being more worried about the PR when they could be investing in the team.
I think if that was any of our clubs, we would be saying exactly the same.
Absolutely would be saying the same, because we are talking Man United. I would say the same about Real Madrid. But obviously Real Madrid's over there and in Spain, and they're doing what they do. But their women's team is an embarrassment to them, really, with the lack of investment. And we're talking about Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Same thing I could say for Liverpool. Liverpool need to fix up themselves as well, but they've started spending more. And I've always thought that would happen with Gareth Taylor going in, because he's a manager of experience, and he's a good coach. I'll give him that. So he's somebody that's gone in there. So they've obviously upped their game, which is a very, very good start. But that's what should be happening. And again, I won't stop with the Man United bashing until they start like giving these girls what they deserve on that pitch. Who's carrying that name, a very heavy bloody name in world football, and they should be embarrassed. Man United stopping people from talking. What's going on here? We're living in. You know what I mean? It's like, don't let me go political in here.
No, shall we stop right there then?
Yeah.
So, Righty, in terms of obviously not agreeing to do the interview, I'd be interested to see if it was on the back of United drawn with Spurs.
Yes.
Whether that decision was made. But I think today I was really impressed with Spurs. They deserved the 3 points, in my opinion. I think in terms of chances created, to be able to create that many chances, 22 shots against United's goal is big, and we've expected a lot from Spurs because of the investment that they've put into their team.
They're trying.
And they've had a really good season considering where they were last season, so I think Spurs will be disappointed they didn't get the 3 points, which is not something that we normally say.
But like again, United probably, with the games they've had to play, I think, like I say, those ladies are at they're running on fumes. But you have to give credit to Spurs. I'm interested to see Spurs next season, because they do seem to something's happening with Spurs where they're just getting a bit better and a bit better. It's going to be interesting to see who they sign in the summer.
It takes time, and the young players as well, doesn't it? So
we'll see how it goes.
Definitely.
So, Steph, I'll see you soon. It's been a good. You know what? Can I just say it's been a good weekend for Arsenal.
It really has.
You know, I needed a good weekend for Arsenal, so we've got one. But I'll speak to you soon. We're back next week, right?
Yeah, we're back next week after the next leg of the Champions League.
And we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Hopefully you're happy then as well.
Fingers crossed, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Take it easy. I'll speak to you soon. You're the best.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.